Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another Hearthstone video. Today we're once again going to be reviewing more cards from One Night in Karazhan. So this is the third one of these reviews, so if you want to check out the other two, there are going to be links in the description to check out the other two reviews. Let's jump right into this, guys. So first card we're going to review is Silverware Golem. It's going to be a 3 mana 3/3 for Warlock. If you discard this minion, summon it. I really like this card. I think this is the type of card that Blizzard needs to be coming out with if they really want the discard archetype to work. The problem with the discard archetype is that you lose a lot of value by losing cards. So the way to fix it is you gain value by losing cards, which they're trying to do by helping you draw more cards and stuff like that. Then again, this is the type of cards that we need. Cards that if you lose the card, it gives you something. Then again, Blizzard do need to be careful with how they make these cards, because if they overstat them and make them too strong, then I don't see why discard Warlock isn't going to be one of the strongest decks in the game. Meanwhile, for now, I think that they don't have enough for discard Warlock. It's getting there. If they announce a couple more cards in this expansion, I definitely believe that discard Warlock is going to become a thing. But for the reason that I just stated before, I think this card's going to be a 6 out of 10. If they add more cards, maybe an 8 out of 10. Meanwhile, in Arena, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Mostly because it just doesn't have enough stats for a 3/3, for a 3-cost minion, sorry. And if you look at other cards that cost 3 mana and have 3/3, they all have a really strong effect to it. Like SI7 Agent is a combo, and it deals 2 damage. Meanwhile, Earthring Farseer heals you for 3, or heals anything for 3 really. So that's the reason I'm gonna give this card a 4 out of 10. Possible decks for this card? Discard Warlock? What do you guys think? Next card. Next card is Karazhan. It's a 5 mana Warlock spell. Summon a 1/1 candle, 2/2 broom, and 3/3 teapot. This card has been getting a lot of comparisons to Force of Nature, and I do understand the comparisons. Force of Nature is also a 5 mana cost spell that splits 6/6 worth of stats across 3 minions. Meanwhile, I do think that this card is worse than Force of Nature, mostly because it's a 1/1 candle, and the 1/1 candle just won't do much. I would actually prefer to have 3 2/2s than a 1/1 2/2 and 3/3. That's just me though. I still think this card is too slow. I don't think it'll see much play. I don't think it'll see any play really. So for that reason, I'm going to give this card a 5 out of 10. And in Arena, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. So a lot of people said that this card could be seen in aggro decks or zoo decks. I personally think this card is too slow to see play in aggro or zoo decks. So for that reason, I got those ratings. Possible decks, like I said, zoo. Maybe someone will make it work. Maybe the meta will slow down and zoo will actually become slower, and then I don't really know. I just don't think it'll see much play. Meanwhile, this card I really do like. Fool's Bane. It's a 5 mana warrior weapon with 3 attack and 4 durability. With the effect, it has unlimited attacks each turn, but can't attack heroes. So this card has its ups and downs. The way I'm looking at it is that this card is a board clear. It's a board clear where you waste your health to kill the minions. It's not going to be good in any type of warrior deck like Pirate Warrior or the Face Dragon Warrior that's out right now. But it will be really good, I think, in Reno Warrior, because Reno Warrior has Brawl as its main board clear, and with this card you have another board clear on top of it. And with that hero power that warrior has, you don't really lose much because you're losing armor. And if you don't lose armor, you're losing health, and you're playing Reno Warrior, so if you draw Reno later on, you're going to get all of it back. So for that reason, I'm going to give this card an 8 out of 10. constructed, and also an 8 out of 10 in Arena, because I just think that this card is one of those cards that could turn the game around in Arena. You draw this, you get a board clear, you start playing your big minions, your opponent runs out of minions in his hand, and then what can he do? He loses. So for that reason, 8 out of 10 in Arena. Possible decks, Reno Warrior. Tell me what you guys think. Meanwhile, Moonglade Portal over here is a 6 mana Druid spell with the effect restore 6 health and summon a random 6 cost minion. I like comparing this card to Anti-Keelbot because Anti-Keelbot was a 5 mana card that had 3/3 worth of stats and healed for 8. So for this card, you're paying 1 more mana. You're not healing for 8, but healing for 6, so you lose 2 heal. But you're playing a 6 cost minion. And most 6 cost minions are stronger than Anti-Keelbot. One exception is the Murloc card that has the battle cry, deal 2 damage to all minions that aren't Murlocs. That's the only card that you're going to get that's worse than Healbot. But that's one out of all the 6 drops in the game. Meanwhile, you could get cards like Karen Bloodhoof, Sylvanas, Illidan, Hogger, and Dark Arakoa, which those are top quality cards that are seeing a lot of play in Constructed right now, except for Illidan and Hogger. But Karen, Sylvanas, Dark Arakoa, those are seen in top 3 decks. So for this reason, I'm going to give this card an 8 out of 10. And for Arena, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. Because just the fact that you could heal up, so you get more chance to survive, and then play a 6 cost minion that could be any of these minions I just named, and more, I think that's pretty good and deserving of a 10/10. Also, this card is going to be really good in Cthulhu Druid in my opinion, because in my own personal experience, Cthulhu Druid, what happens to me is I get rushed down early game before I could get any of my big minions out, and I lose. This card could be one of those cards that just heals me up, I get a random 6 drop, I get an extra turn, I could play a Dark Arakoa the next turn, I could start building my wall of taunt. The aggro players can't push through it until I get Cthulhu, and then when I get Cthulhu, I win. So that's the reason I think this card is going to get a lot of play in Cthulhu Druid. Next card is the Pompous Thespian. It's a 2 mana 3/3/2 with taunt. Do I really have to explain this card? In my opinion, it's just very bad. A lot of people are hyping it up to be the card that goes really well with Bolster Warrior. But I just want to remind you guys that this card is just a worse version of Sparring Partner, which has the same stats, same mana cost, but has the effect that it could also give another minion taunt. So this is just a worse version of Sparring Partner, and don't see why it'll get any play. And in other decks, I just don't think it's going to get any play because I don't think it's good enough. Other decks already have enough cards. This is just a filler card in my opinion. So for those reasons, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10 in Constructed. The main reason it's a 3 out of 10 and not a 0 out of 10 or a 1 out of 10 is because the Frostwolf Grunt, I think that's the name of the card, the 2 mana 2/2 with taunt. It's better than that card. So I'm going to give it a bit more points because it's better than another card. So that's the reason for that. And I see a lot of people getting angry about the power creep for this card. I don't see why though. Don't see the main reason why. They've done it with other cards. In Arena, I think 4 out of 10. It'll trade into a couple of your opponent's minions, but the main thing I think about when I see this card is 2 health. Fiery Bat could kill it. Fiery Bat could kill 3 health. But Fiery Bat could kill that card and also just ping your opponent in the face. Babbling Book can punch this card, and then you can ping, and it's dead. I just don't think that 2 mana for a taunt is good enough. Possible decks, I don't see this being played in any deck. Not even Bolster Warrior, nothing. Next card is Zuba. I really like this card. I like the artwork of this card. I am kind of salty that there aren't any Murlocs in there. I see Blizzard being racist towards the Murloc race. So, a 3/3, 3 mana 3/3, Battle Cry. Give a random friendly beast, dragon, and Murloc a +1/+1. The way I'm looking at this card is I'm comparing this card to Sun Shattered Cleric. I think that's the name of the card. The 3 mana 3/2. Give a minion +1/+1. So I'm comparing it to that, and I think this card is better than that card. It does better stats, and it has the ability to give the +1/+1 to more minions. But all in all, the main reason I see this card being played is in Hunter decks, where you play a beast turn 1 like Firebat, then you play another beast, and if either of those 2 beasts survive, you're getting a 3/3 and +1/+1 on one of those beasts, which is just really good. So I think that's enough said for this card. And rating out of 10 for me, I think it's going to be a 7 out of 10. And in Arena, a 6 out of 10, because it's going to be a bit less likely that you're going to draw into a beast that early, but still pretty likely. Beasts are kind of common in Arena. Possible decks, aggro decks, mid-range. I'm looking at this card for Hunter. Meanwhile, we have the Nether Spite Historian. It's a 2 mana 1/3 Battle Cry. If you're holding a dragon, discover a dragon. Well, I think this card's pretty good, and it's going to see play mostly in Dragon Priest, because Dragon Priest really only has one good 2-drop, and that's the Wormrest Argent, I think that's the name of it. That's a 2 mana 1/4. If you're holding a dragon, gain +1 attack, and gain +1 attack. I think this card is a slightly less defensive version of that card, but it lets you draw more dragons. And even if you draw more dragons, and they're not that good, you can just keep that dragon in your hand and have dragon synergy for all the dragon cards that need the activator. So I think it's going to be a great card for a dragon activator. For that reason, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. And for Arena, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10, because I just don't see many dragons in Arena, and I don't think they're not that common as seeing dragons in a dragon deck where you choose the dragons. So my main deck for this card is going to be Dragon Priest. I'm going to try it out. I don't know if it's going to take the place of Wormrest Argent, because it's a pretty good card. But I'm going to try it out. You guys probably should too. Next card is Medivh the Guardian. So Medivh the Guardian is the 8 mana legendary, 7/7 Battle Cry. Equip the 8ish Great Staff of the Guardian. So the 8ish Great Staff is a 3 mana weapon with the effect: after you cast the spell, summon a random minion with that cost. Lose 1 durability. So the way I'm looking at this card is you're getting 8 mana. You're wasting 8 mana to get 7/7 worth of stats and a summoning stone that's going to work 3 times unless it gets Harrison Jones or Swamp Oozed. And in my opinion, that's pretty good. So for those reasons, it's going to get an 8 out of 10 constructed and 7 out of 10 for Arena. 7 out of 10 for Arena because it's a bit less likely to get spells in Arena. And I see a lot more decks with minions. This card also has very good synergy with cards like the Arch Thief, because you play this card turn 8, you get 8ish, then you play Arch Thief turn 9, you get the 10 mana spell, you play the 10 mana spell, and you're most likely gonna get either Deathwing or one of the giants. Wait, no, you're not gonna get the giants. You're gonna get a 10 mana minion. So that's really good. So for that reason, I'm mostly thinking about this card in Tempo Mage and Mid-Range Mage. I also could see this card being played in something like a Warlock, some Priest decks. But all in all, I think it's going to be mostly a card that's going to be played in Mage. And I think it's going to be pretty good. And that's it for today, guys. Remember, I'm the Ram King. If you want to check out more card reviews, check out the last card review. If you want to check out more of my content, check out my last video where I play Terraria with a friend. Make sure to subscribe, comment, leave a like, and thanks for watching.